self-reliant and globally competitive economy. It is my honor to invite Shri Piyush Goyal, Honorable Minister of Commerce and Industry, Government of India, to kindly share his vision with us.
Thank you very much, Madam. A very good afternoon to all the participants. Dobry den. His Excellency Mr. Maxim Oreshkin, the Deputy Chief of Staff of the Presidential Executive Office of the Russian Federation, Honorable Ministers, Excellencies, distinguished guests, friends from Russia and India, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen. I join my friend Anand in extending a very warm welcome to you, Excellency, and to all the distinguished guests from Russia and India who have joined us at the India-Russia Business Forum. I really think we needed a larger room because the depth, the breadth, the size, the scale, and the strength of the partnership between Russia and India is so deep, enduring, and strong that possibly this room cannot fit that and cannot accommodate so many people who are interested in further strengthening this relationship in the years ahead. In fact, our relationship, honored as a special and privileged strategic partnership, is time-tested, is resilient. And these are not mere words. This relationship has stood as a testament to decades of unwavering solidarity, enduring the many uncertainties of a changing world, tested through years and years of friendship, standing strongly with each other for the best interests of our people, our economies, and our country. As His Excellency Mr. Oreshkin at the recent G20 summit in South Africa mentioned, and I quote, "Today, the world is facing three crises: crisis of openness, crisis of institutions, and crisis of development model." In this regard, if one looks at the India story, it stands as an oasis in the desert, a reliable, trusted, and forward-looking partner, friend to all, working with countries around the world to open borders, to expand trade, create the framework conditions to grow economic partnerships, strengthening its institutions, regulatory processes, our democratic institutions, the rule of law that the judicial process offers, and also working on a developmental model which has at its core inclusive and sustainable growth, which is focused on the welfare of 1.4 billion Indians, which has strengthened our economy, our fundamentals of our economy, and which has, on the twin pillars of huge investments in infrastructure and encouraging consumer spending, become one of the fastest growing large economies in the world. And we expect this in the next 2 or 3 decades to continue as we grow from a $4 trillion economy today to a $35 trillion economy over the next 22 years by 2047 when we celebrate 100 years of independence. Friends, despite all the global headwinds, India and our economy has demonstrated tremendous ability to withstand headwinds, shock, challenges. From a fragile 5 economy barely 11 years ago, we are today amongst the top 5 economies, soon to become the world's 3rd largest GDP. We have navigated the pandemic, we have navigated geopolitical tensions, supply shocks, and are recognized the world over today as a beacon of hope, as an engine of economic growth. Our inflation is very much under control. In fact, last month it was as low as 0.25% at the consumer price index level. We expect the current year to be around 2.5% in terms of inflation. All estimates of growth, which have kept changing over the last few months, are being proven wrong. The economy grew 7.8% in first quarter, grew 8.2% in the second quarter ended September. And now I was just reading earlier in the morning that rating agencies are now changing all the estimates of current year's growth, and have finally acknowledged and recognized that it will be upward of 7%. We have, when I talk about macroeconomic stability, strengthening the fundamentals of our economy, it has happened on the back of very bold reforms, transformational initiatives like a single tax across the country, the goods and services tax. Within that, evolving with the times to make it simpler, to make it more consumer friendly, to continuously bring down the rates of taxation and make it very friendly for the business community and encourage consumer spending. At the same time, our new labor codes have brought 29 laws into 4 labor codes, focusing largely on a better deal for our workmen, better salaries, higher national minimum wages, more safety against occupational hazards, a social security net for all, including gig workers and contract workers. All in all, creating the right conditions for good employment opportunities for our young men and women. As you may all be aware, we sport a very young population. The average age is around 28.5 years, and we are expected to continue to be young for the next 3 decades. We have also focused on decriminalization of many laws where small misdemeanors could cause a lot of problems for businesses. We focused on removing obsolete laws, shedding the colonial mindset that we had inherited in 1947, reducing compliance burden, making processes and procedures simpler, collectively in the direction of ease of doing business and ease of living for every single citizen or resident living in India. Our Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, recognized the world over as one of the most popular leaders political personalities, a decisive leader who has led from the front, had captured the very soul of our relationship with Russia when he said, and I quote, "On hearing the word Russia, the first word that comes to the mind of every Indian is India's Sukh Dukh Ka Sathi." That part is in Hindi. India's Sukh Dukh Ka Sathi. And it translates to a companion, a friend in good times and bad times. A companion in happiness and a companion in sorrow. And Excellency, I can assure you, you can go to any part of India and you will hear the same bond of friendship between Russia and India. Of course, as was said earlier in the video, our film industry has also strengthened that bond. Right from the days of Mera Naam Joker and Raj Kapoor going to Russia with this film, a film which didn't do very well in India originally. But it's after the Russians started liking it, we all recognized that to be a very beautiful film. A personal favorite, if I may add. And the Prime Minister further went on to say, no matter how low the temperature dips below minus during the Russian winter, the India-Russia friendship will always remain full of warmth. And I think that is what we can see in this room today. Friends, a decade ago, in 2014, during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's first summit meeting with His Excellency President Vladimir Putin, we aimed for a $30 billion bilateral trade, as His Excellency just mentioned, by 2025. We are twice that already. Of course, you very rightly pointed out that it's very skewed and needs to be more balanced. We need to bring more diversity in our trade basket. We need to make it more balanced inter, say, Russia and India. We need to add more variety. And there's so much to offer between both countries. There's so much that we believe we can take from Russia. There's such a large variety of offerings that 1.4 billion Indians from India have to offer to Russia, that the sky is the limit. And I think if we all work together, particularly our business community takes a leap of faith, I am very sure this untapped potential can be explored. The partnership will flourish. We'll address the trade imbalance in the near future, and we'll work collectively to eliminate, reduce, dilute the trade barriers, if any. We'll work to create the right conditions to open opportunities for business persons on both sides. And therefore, the theme of today's business forum, sell to Russia, and within that, balanced growth, shared growth, I think is extremely opportune, comes at a moment of time when it is very relevant. Russia has a huge demand for a wide range of industrial goods, consumer products, presenting multiple untapped opportunities for Indian businesses. Many sectors with a strong potential would include, as you were mentioning, the automobile sector, whether it's cars, tractors, heavy commercial vehicles, electronics, smartphones, data processing equipment, heavy machinery, industrial components, textiles, food products, and many more. Friends, entrepreneurship runs deep in India's DNA. As we have developed our startup ecosystem to become the third largest in the world, propelling innovation across deep tech, agri-tech, fintech, defense, semiconductors, space, opportunities galore, which makes India a destination of choice, a provider of substance. I'm sure even investors looking for high value returns would find a lot of opportunities in India. Also, our demographic dividend, the young, hardworking, talented, skilled men and women can fill Russia's large 3 million talent shortfall that I'm told exists. And I can assure you, our young people are not only very hardworking, they will not complain that it's Friday evening or it's Saturday and we need to go off. Our young men and women are driven, willing to work 7 days a week if the requirement is there. Willing to really put in long hours, lot of hard work, very committed, very, very conscious of their responsibilities, outcome oriented. After all, we produce the world's largest number of STEM graduates, 2.4 million STEM graduates coming out of our universities and colleges every year. I am sure these young men and women, the talent from India, can inject innovative design skills, analytics, research, and other capabilities which will enhance Russia's competitiveness in the world markets. In conclusion, I would like to quote a phrase by Rasul Gamzatov, a Russian poet, and I quote, "There are no distant lands for those who have a friend nearby. Mountains do not divide us. They only lift our gaze higher to see another." In the same spirit, it is often said, when you cross one mountain, you only find many more ranges ahead to conquer. We may have achieved $70 billion of bilateral trade, but we cannot rest. We need to grow that. We need to balance that. We need to have the shared prosperity of both regions in our focus. In fact, Raj Kapoor's famous film Avara, whose timeless songs touched hearts across Russia, I am told, in a way epitomizes that friendship between the two countries. It reminds us that culture, like friendship, has no borders, has no boundaries. I am confident that today's deliberations will spark new collaborations and strengthen our partnership to greater heights, conquering greater challenges and achieving better results for the shared prosperity of India and Russia. Dhanyavad. Thank you very much. Spasiba.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, sir, for your inspiring address. and for illuminating the path forward for India-Russia economic cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, let's once again put our hands together to thank the Honorable Minister and our distinguished dignitaries, both from India and Russia, as we close this session. Request for a group photograph. Ladies and gentlemen, we would request everyone to kindly remain seated as we will be straight away moving into the proceedings of the next session. We request to just give us a moment to arrange the top table for the next session. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, requesting everyone to kindly remain seated.